Theories of racial, ethnic, and cultural development throughout the lifespan. Ethnicity refers to the idea that one is a member of a particular cultural, national, or racial group that may share culture, religion, race, language, or place of origin. Two people can share the same race but have different ethnicities. The meaning of race is not fixed. It is related to a particular social, historical, and geographic context. The way races are classified has changed in the public mind over time. For example, at one time racial classifications were based on ethnicity or nationality, religion, or minority language groups. Today, society classifies people into different races primarily based on skin color. Cultural identity is often defined as the identity of a group or culture of an individual who is influenced by his or her self-identification with that group or culture. Certain ethnic and racial identities may also bestow privilege. Cultural, racial, and ethnic identities are important. They may instill feelings of shared commitment and values and a sense of belonging that may otherwise be missing. Cultural, racial, and ethnic identities are passed from one generation to the next through customs, traditions, language, religious practice, and cultural values. Current events, mainstream media, and popular literature also influence cultural, racial, and ethnic identities. Cultural, racial, and ethnic identities play a particularly large role among minority youth because they experience the contrasting and dominant culture of the majority ethnic group. Youth who belong to the majority ethnic culture may not even recognize or acknowledge their cultural, racial, and ethnic identities. Following is a three-stage model for adolescent cultural and ethnic identity development. These stages do not correspond to specific ages, but can occur at any time. Individuals may spend their entire lives at a particular stage. 1. The first stage, unexamined cultural, racial, and ethnic identity, is characterized by a lack of exploration of culture, race, and ethnicity and cultural, racial, and ethnic differences. They are rather taken for granted without much critical thinking. 1. This is usually the stage reserved for childhood when cultural, racial, and ethnic ideas provided by parents, the community, or the media are easily accepted. 1. Children at this stage tend not to be interested in culture, race, or ethnicity and are generally ready to take on the opinions of others. 2. The second stage of the model is referred to as the cultural, racial, and ethnic identity search and is characterized by the exploration and questioning of culture, race, and ethnicity in order to learn more about them and to understand the implications of belonging. 2. During this stage, there is questioning of where beliefs come from and why they are held. 2. For some, this stage may arise from a turning point in their lives or from a growing awareness of other cultures, races, and ethnicities. 2. It can also be a very emotional time. 3. Finally, the third stage of the model is cultural, racial, and ethnic identity achievement. 3. Ideally, people at this stage have a clear sense of their cultural, racial, and ethnic identity and are able to successfully navigate it in the contemporary world, which is undoubtedly very interconnected and intercultural. 3. The acceptance of cultural, racial, and ethnic identity may play a significant role in important life decisions and choices, influencing attitudes and behavior. 3. This usually leads to an increase in self-confidence and positive psychological development. The classic model of cultural, racial, and ethnic identity development refers to identity statuses rather than stages, because stages imply a linear progression of steps that may not occur for all. 1. Pre-encounter. At this point, the client may not be consciously aware of his or her culture, race, or ethnicity and how it may affect his or her life. 2. Encounter. A client has an encounter that provokes thought about the role of cultural, racial, and ethnic identification in his or her life. 2. This may be a negative or positive experience related to culture, race, and ethnicity. 2. For minorities, this experience is often a negative one in which they experience discrimination for the first time. 3. Immersion. After an encounter that forces a client to confront cultural, racial, and ethnic identity, a period of exploration follows. 3. A client may search for information and will also learn through interaction with others from the same cultural, racial, or ethnic groups. 4. Internalization and commitment. At this point, a client has developed a secure sense of identity and is comfortable socializing both within and outside the group with which he or she identifies.